I think it's important to express that it was nothing that I've created at all. I heard a different way of being in the world. And then because I heard a thing, it's not mine, it's just something that I heard. And I communicate it with others in a way that they then also hear that different way of being in the world. And it's shared through idea and through thought. And in the idea and thought, some of those people are also drawn and inspired into action. And in the action based on the thinking and the thought, then it comes real in the world, like banks for the poor. Plastic is the currency, where everything ultimately can be transacted, utilized, enjoyed, healed, using the material resource beneath our feet that is polluting the waterways and ultimately part of the mass extinction that we're experiencing.
Welcome back, everyone, to Catalyst Talks podcast, where we are bridging ancient intelligence with modern wisdom to inform our future human potential. My guest today is David Katz, a globally recognized humanitarian and exemplary entrepreneur, founder and chairman of Plastic Bank, a global movement that redefines prosperity and transforms waste into wealth. So, for those of my listeners who do not know the Plastic Bank, or if you're not familiar with David Katz and his vision, he and his team and his mission is tackling two very pressing challenges humans face on this planet, and that is plastic pollution and poverty, and what we are perceiving as poverty. And what I wanted to do is we open up this conversation, and everybody, if you're not familiar with David, just go to catalysttalks.com and you can see David's full bio and all of the show notes, and we're going to share whatever we emerge in this conversation. What I wanted to share, what I want to kick us off with here today is my perception and awareness of what the plastic bank is. Now, I met David, I met you in 2018. That was a long time ago. And I was so enamored and in awe of what your vision was and what you were creating. You joined us on the podcast in 2020, episode number 3. And I know that you guys have evolved. You're evolving your vision, how you're activating your transformations all over the world is evolving. And so you probably don't know this. You have maybe you do, you have a cadre of humans who are out there spreading the word and message of what Plastic Bank is and how awesome you are. And I always say, oh my God, they're like this ecosystem. And so there's this mountains and mountains of plastic, ocean-bound plastic, and there's people who need to create wealth, need to create money to survive and thrive. And well, what happens when those people have a role to play to take that plastic and turn it into something that is usable? So we no longer have to continue to create virgin plastic. And I first heard that word virgin plastic from you and so many other terms like coining social plastic. And so these people, they bring this plastic to these places that are called the Plastic Bank. And then they partnered with IBM and then they created this blockchain monetary system where people can bring this plastic and transform their lives. And also this plastic then can become social plastic which big companies buy to use in their manufacturing processes for, social manufactured packaging. And so anyway, I could keep going on and on, but I have this whole vision of what the Plastic Bank is and what it is you're doing. And I would just love to hear from you. What is the Plastic Bank? And of course, who is David Katz behind the vision?
Hi, Stephanie. Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for all that. Super beautiful. And there's a lot that you said there. However, I think it's important to express that it was nothing that I've created at all. I heard a different way of being in the world,
Mm,
and I've been using my word to create it. And then because I heard a thing, it's not mine, it's just something that I heard. And I communicate it with others in a way that they then also hear that different way of being in the world. And it's shared through idea and through thought. And in the idea and thought, some of those people are also drawn and inspired into action. And in the action based on the thinking and the thought, then it comes real in the world. So I have done none of the heavy lifting. I have had the tenacity to persevere in the communication of a different way for humanity to be. In its essence is Plastic Bank. Oh, yes, I understand. That seems to be esoteric at minimum. I think that many people lose the depth of the quote because it's about truly being. It's not about acting like the change. It's not resisting the change, being a different way in the resistance to what was. It's truly coming and speaking and being from the change. It's operating from a different place and time, and it's being from there. And in our being from there, the reality emerges around us. That's Plastic Bank. My work is to operate and communicate from the being of prosperity.
What I'm curious for you to expand on is operating from a different time and place.
I can see that if humanity is to survive and exist in 1,000 years from now, imagine the changes that have occurred since the turn of the last 2 millennia ago, 1000 BC. Imagine where we might be in 3025. If we're here, we would be thriving. If we're thriving, at some point along that journey, we stopped taking resources, powerful, remarkable energy from Earth, using them once and then burying them in a hole. I believe that some point along that journey, if we receive and arrive in 1,000 years, everything comes back to circularity. Everything continues just to be reused and reused and reused. Something like we might envision from the movie Dune or the book. But that would be what we're doing. We're stepping into the future and understanding that all things come back to circularity. That is where I be, and I'm creating and living this space where the rest of humanity catches up to the true circularity of all things. Now, that shows up in a way today, like banks for the poor, where plastic is the currency, where everything ultimately can be transacted, utilized, enjoyed, healed, using the material resource beneath our feet that is polluting the waterways and ultimately part of a mass extinction that we're experiencing. But it's plastic to pay for school tuition. It's plastic to pay for clean water. It's plastic to pay for food. Or do you need doctor care? Collect the plastic beneath your feet. Do you need eyeglasses? Do you need vision care for your family? Collect plastic beneath your feet. And that's what we do. And we transact it through a banking application so that the people who are collecting it also earn financial inclusion. So there's a literacy and then an inclusion component. And then based on how much you collect and return, in the end, you earn and substantiate a credit worthiness. So we give zero interest loans to the world's poor, which will truly be the only methodology to help solve poverty because you can't donate the end of poverty. You can create mechanisms where poverty can solve itself. It moves humanity to prosperity and creates the possibility that we live in the space that all things are prosperous, all things are returned, and every time something occurs or a transaction occurs, the world heals.
That's so beautiful. Mechanism that solves prosperity and every transaction. Is this the prosperity effect
Yeah, it
you
is the
mentioned?
prosperity effect. Like it's beyond, it's beyond profit, right? So, I communicate that we're a for prosperity business, right? We're not an NGO. We're creating. And we're beyond profit, which sometimes can come from a scarcity mindset. You need to profit, and I profit by extracting as much as I can, taking from others, negotiating, in a way that only that I win. All it's not the way. Beyond that is prosperity. Where in this win-win or no deal, when I create this ecosystem where everyone is prospering, everyone has, and we all then join together, then it becomes synergy. See, like it's the principles of life, the basic principle, the principles of effectiveness in life lie in that win-win or no deal, in the opportunity to synergize together, which I know sometimes can be misused as a word, but there's a true opportunity where people come together and create together. There's so much more to create together. So that's really this way of being in the world,
Mm.
which and I think for the last few hundred years we've suffered from capitalism. We've suffered from a very linear definition of it. And I'm going to stand to change that.
And you really do embody, you really do. These are words that sound poetic and really resonate with the frequency. And, it's transmission to hear you speak them. And I know you to know that you actually really, really embody these words in your being. And I'm curious in the work you do in the spaces that you, let's say, is it even work in the way you be and the spaces that are being with you and co-creating and co-evolving with you, are you do you bump into the resistance to the embodiment of this way?
Well, any resistance that I would encounter is inside, right? If I see something as being a resistance, that is emerging from within.
Within
That's not
who?
within me. So that's just a pathway. That's just a surrender. That's just a looking and saying, "Oh, I'm placing that as meaning of resistance." No, it's just me. How do I look at how to like so in the powerful receiving of all of those things? That's all part of the journey. I subscribe to the knowing that nothing is an obstruction, it's just an instruction. How do I get better? See, that's the part of the gratitude of life. See, it's also part of that prosperity. Like, see, when you have deep internal gratitude, of course everything's prosperous anyhow. But then there's the externality of taking prosperity and creating it for others. Um, but I mean, you can attempt to create prosperity. People have to receive it as prosperous. That's something you can't control, but you can create a different way of thinking where they can step into it. That's something a bit deeper. But um, so like within that mindset, within the gratitude, of course, everything comes as a beautiful instruction. Like, oh, what's here? What's the gift in all of it? No matter how horrible it may seem at the outset. But I think the real masters in the end, I don't know if they would use any of the any words, anything as extreme as horrible. It would just be, it's just events. Oh, that's occurred. Then you can be with the humanity of it, but yeah, there's lots of that conversation.
Yeah. Well, in the day to day of operationalizing of the work, of the mission, I'm assuming that people who are on the ride with Plastic Bank are not only in for what they might step in for some form of prosperity in the external sense, and then the codes of how you operate are this inner evolutionary journey.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. Let me, for some that might be listening, to contextualize it, like we
Mm.
began in Haiti, we went to the Philippines, Indonesia, we operated in Brazil, Egypt, Cameroon, Thailand. We're looking at opening Nigeria this year, perhaps beginning in India. We'll see. We
Mm.
continue to create this big global banking infrastructure for the world's poor. We affect about 300,000 people today with additional income and support. And we've collected, I don't know, 8.5 billion bottles of plastic that have returned to circularity. And we collect all material type, but we've collected just mass volumes of material. We've collected the largest quantity of hand gathered plastic in human history. And I think we'll always hold that title.
Wow. And how do you track it?
Well, everything's tracked through a blockchain banking application where every interaction, every transaction is accounted for. So you register as a human in our system, you register, and then whenever you're encountering a location where you return your plastic, it's accounted for, value is transferred. And so, yeah, every gram of plastic in the end is accounted for, and the entire supply chain is accounted for. So if one of our corporate customers buys the material and puts it back in their packaging, they have the full traceability of where the plastic came from, who collected it, when it was collected, how much time it sat, stuff. So it gives them all of those things because not everybody has a prosperity mindset. And some people want to vilify those who try. And they vilify them by calling them greenwashers and liars and things. And, I just see people trying, but a lot of people that have the scarcity in their mindset think they're being stolen. So anyhow, we provide the space for them to be able to substantiate to those people who don't have the prosperity mindset to see for themselves the truth of what we do. So yes, incredibly robust. Partnered with IBM at first. We use the IBM Hyperledger Fabric, which is their blockchain language, and everything is administered in a fashion that provides full traceability and transparency. So depending on the permission, anyone has the opportunity to say what's occurring here.
People get to register as like workers, employees, like participants. What do you,
People,
or anybody can just download this app and go to work.
anybody.
Mm,
We're a super gig economy, right? Like, so anybody can
wow.
join. But the most prolific expansion for us is schools.
Mm,
So of the, I don't know, almost 800 locations we have now, so many of them are schools. Yeah. So we ultimately teach the school how to teach the child to teach the parent
wow.
so that the parent can view the material differently. So instead of burning it or throwing it in the streets,
Wow.
once a week you bring it to school. It has to be a location-based infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be a collection branch on the other side of town where most people don't have transport or whatever that might look like. You got to be able to walk it. It's got to be convenient. And turns out schools are pretty convenient.
Wow. So that's where people bring the plastic.
Correct. The school becomes the plastic bank.
And then where does the plastic go between the school
Well,
and
from
the,
there, it's then transported because it's aggregated. So you get a large volume of material.
yeah.
And then we would work with a local recycler who'd come get it. And there may be actually a further aggregator in the middle, but in the end, it's transported to the local processing facility where the material is further recycled. Well, to be clear, when it comes to the school, they add value by removing labels and stuff
Mhm.
and returning and segregating the material in a way that it's by material type and things. And then it goes to the right processor. And then the processor will flake the material or clean it and flake it or pelletize it or do things to it. It becomes readied as a raw material for manufacturing. So it's truly what I think that had plastic arrived with recycling, had it been introduced with, hey everyone, we have a remarkable material. It's cheap, it's lightweight, it's healthy, and we're going to return it so it continues to be recycled all the time. So, and if that was the way, just like glass bottles were introduced to be returned, I think we wouldn't be having the discussion today. So that's ultimately we got to play a little catch up.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Your attention means the world to me. If you're enjoying these episodes, please take a moment to share or subscribe. Click the button. There's a red button somewhere on this page. Subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications. Take a moment to review the show, comment on this episode. Your engagement, your attention means the world to us, and it really helps us spread these important messages and enables us to continue to put this amazing content out in the world. So thank you for being part of this conversation. Your attention means the world to me. And now, back to this episode. Have you seen other industries attempting to model the ecosystem in like with clothes or
Well, I would like to. I mean, the whole idea is the gamification of an incentive. So
yeah.
I think simplistically, we are a global bottle deposit program whose incentive for collection is the end of poverty. Collect plastic bottles and poverty can leave your family. That's really the incentive. Listen, when you live in the base of needs, when you live truly in the hierarchy of needs and you don't have food, you do not care. Recycling, F off. I do
Yeah.
not care. I need to eat. So, so you can't like my most famous quote is that a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. So you can't convince anyone to do anything, but if I can expose an idea or a different way of thinking to you that becomes yours, amazing. So when I can show you that plastic is money, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, hold on. You mean everything beneath my feet, everything I find discarded in the street, that's I'm on it
Mm.
because now I can have autonomy. I have
Wow.
self-reliance. And then in the end you have the ability to develop mastery. So you actually have the opportunity to transcend with it. You see, these are ideas back here as well, Stephanie, back to prosperity, you see. You see, because we looked at it, we viewed it, I see the material as something of significant value in humanity. We live in the place of that where all things are returned, all ways of our being lead to that. Because even in the conversation that plastic now can create the space for people to transcend, well, hold on. It's not just recycling. It's the difference in the essence of being of humans where they can move beyond the very base of needs from needing security to a place of self-actualization. Now, there's a pathway to get there, and I do not want to oversimplify the confines of poverty, but at least it's a path that didn't exist before. And so, yes, more people should emulate that. Because, yes, there's plastic bank, but the prosperity thinking itself is what people need to emulate. So, prosperity is the base law.
What are some of the programs in the mind of humanity that you sort of witness as blocking the lens to see the truth of that prosperity is the fabric of our
Well,
universe?
it's poverty mindset.
Where does that come from?
I think that most of the challenges were from the space of not being good enough. So that's
Scarcity.
ego. Do I have enough? Do I have this now? If I look this way, if I have this fashioned, if I have this logo, if I need this, I want that. Oh, I can't be seen just drinking regular water. I've got to buy Fiji water and on and on because it's the way we've externalized our joy, waiting for other people to validate us, living in the eyes of others in a way where we do not believe inherently that we are good enough. When we solve that, that's the evolution of the human. I think we're arising as a conscious being, and we do see a proliferation of at least the conversation of awakening. And its awakening is this: the consciousness is finding separation between ego and self. And see, and even in that space, to come out of ego, which is a finite way of being, in essence, there's lots of conversation there. When I come back in that, the consciousness, I am everything. I am light. I am energy. I am everything. It's not finite. Even in the consciousness, consciousness is in the end prosperity. It's infinite.
I see ego in a different light lately, in the sense that, ego is what we program it to be. It's how we experience our physical vessel and our mind, our body mind in this dimension, right? And then all of these other dimensions that we are existing, our multidimensionality existing at the same time, the lens of what we're perceiving through our ego is what creates it. So I don't think it's like getting rid of our ego is an answer.
Well, you can't get rid of the ego.
We're refining our ego. We're
Well,
limiting the lens of our ego.
it's just my understanding and my work and my study and my way of being is the distinction that ego is thought. So they're all the thoughts in our heads.
Mhm.
But what occurs and what has occurred for me is that sometimes I believe the thoughts, but the thoughts are just runaway pathways of energy.
Thoughts about prosperity are also thought.
But it's a choice. That's a creation. I'm choosing that. I go,
Mhm.
oh, this is what I'm choosing.
Yeah.
But often we get caught up in the thought and we believe that to be the truth. And we don't have a distinction to then come out of the thought.
Yeah.
And so we believe the thought is the truth. And it's not, it's just a thought. And it's the work of Tolle and Singer and so many that it's that we've lost the distinction in the space where most people have never had the opportunity to understand that they're the ones who are listening to the thought. It's not the thought itself. We, the conscious, is the one listening to the thought. But most live in the space that they believe they are the thinking. And we have a power to come out of thought. Now I can also choose thought and say, I create this. Consciousness. That I
Yeah.
believe that originates in consciousness. So
Mhm.
this is my creation as a co-creator in the universe. Again, just for me, my
Mhm.
conversation would be
Mhm.
the free running, unconscious decision that I am thought, and that I operate my ego. My ego are the thoughts that typically, in their runaway, never say nice things.
Mm.
They're never kind. They're never, David, you look amazing. Look at you. You look fantastic. Oh, those lines on you, those look remarkable. Not at all. It's all the, oh, you're growing hair in places. Oh my gosh, you're old. You're not worthy anymore. You're this, you're that, you're all of these things. Oh, look at that little piece of fat. That means that you're not quite good enough yet. And on and on. When was the last time your ego told you nice things?
When I woke up and was really grateful for all
Awesome.
of the negatively things I perceived as negative in my life. And there is a distinction of spirit and pure consciousness. And then there is also it's the meaning I'm making through the lens of existing in this reality.
I mean, that's beautiful. That's an amazing example that you made a conscious decision and you chose it to be a way. You're aware that you made a choice, though. That's the difference.
Yes.
You're aware, and your awareness was your consciousness. Your consciousness choose to look at all of it and go, "Oh, I choose this to be amazing."
Cool. And when we were talking before we came on live, we were talking about the conscious human and the unconscious human, and you had mentioned, which I really agree with, that the unconscious human is racing to its own extinction. Expand on that from your perspective.
Well, it's the unconscious human in the end that doesn't understand that it has choice, and that the default of the ego is the negativity in a sense to try to protect you, but it has you look for danger all the time. So, and the danger sometimes now arrives with us as a you're not good enough, you don't look good enough, your feathers aren't clear enough, you won't be able to mate, do these things, buy this car, buy this house, buy these clothes, buy more clothes, you're not fashionable enough, you need to buy more things.
In this moment in particular, like if we were having this conversation, sad 5 years ago, it's such a different moment. I feel that there's not only is external or externally things changing, there's an energy on that is Earth, Mother Gaia is evolving, our solar system, our universe is evolving, and our awareness of that through the information that is available to us even more, and our own sensory perception coming online even more are really it is a very different energy, let's just say, in 2025 than even 2023, 2024. So we are really stepping into this new, I believe, evolutionary portal for humans. What I'm noticing is that it's also for like if we've been on this path a long time, and like you can just like love even the challenges. What they're not challenges, they're just, what did you say, experiences. There's a lot of people who are waking up and who are in the in between, right? There's that in between, and so having total compassion. And what are your words of wisdom for people who are still in the mentalizing of the, even the choice, we say it's a mental choice to choose to feel aligned and coherent with our higher consciousness, our higher self. What in reality, a lot of people are, it's like, whoa, what's going on? How do I do this? And it's an intellectualizing process, yet it's still really happening. How do you speak to that? What is your wisdom speaking?
I just share for myself that my experience was not intellectualizing it. It was about just, for myself, when I have a new awareness, I become that awareness. There's no process, there's no step by step.
Explain that though.
Well, it's even like with Plastic Bank, it's difficult for people to understand. They say, "Well, how did you create it?" I say, "Well, I just be it." It drives them crazy. And they're like, "No, tell me step by step. What did you do first? What did you do second? How do I do that? How did you do this?" And stuff. I'm like, it's not that. It's not intellectualizing it. Yes, that arises. Of course, that arises, but that's secondary to the choice of being it. You see, what originates all of those things is the choice of the being. And when you choose in that being, and then you can begin to operationalize it, you can intellectualize it. But you can't miss that step because you actually have to step into a new awareness and a new reality. And then you can begin to operationalize it. But if you miss that step, you'll just be recreating what already was. Because what we're communicating and what I'm chatting about today, especially in Plastic Bank, is creating what needs to be, what will be. What will be
Mm.
is stepping into a different place of being. And if you recreate from what already is, And in
Yeah.
your place of being in what is, you'll only recreate what is. You
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
truly powerfully have to remove and find the distinction to live into the vision of it. And when you step into that vision and be the vision, and then operationalize from the vision, then you're creating a pathway to where you are.
Oh, love. Yes.
So that is the way. That's not the way. That was my way. Everyone can have their own way. That was my way.
How do you bring other people into the beingness that want to participate in your journey in the physical sense of working with you, working for the plastic bank? How do you facilitate that beingness? It's not right.
Well, I think there's the very relevant. I just came back from the our ecosystem in the Philippines. We got 35 or so staff there. We got, I think, 22,000 collecting families there. So maybe 100,000 people that we're working with.
Wow.
And, and it's my mission today to ensure that everybody knows that they are the creator of Plastic Bank. See, like you are as well, which is why you communicate it, because it's nothing I created. Remember, I only had a thinking and a way of being. I saw a different way of thinking, and I share the different way of thinking. See, I received a different way of thinking, and it drew me and inspired me to be in action of that different way of thinking. That different way of thinking put me into a paradigm in a place of humanity that draws me in a way that I can invite people into that being. And what's important is that when other people learn of Plastic Bank and people want to come work with us, it wasn't words that I gave them. They just also heard a way of thinking and a way of being like I did. Mine just happened to come from somewhere. And that when they receive it, when I can be with them so that they can fully understand that they just heard the same voice I heard. And that I didn't give them that. They were used and inspired to touch them in a way to use them, and it flourishes and flows from the essence of their being. And so operate from there. That's yours to do. I don't tell you how to do anything. I tell no one, I give no one a job description. I give them a responsibility as I see the future needs. And I
Mm.
can look and I say the possibility in the future and the step in time as I see it calls us to create this system or create this way of being. How do you do? I don't know. Go create that. Let it
Mm.
use you in a way that it finds the well inside of you and you create that because that's what we need as a humanity. Because the work is not just one, it'll originate as a spring. And that spring in the end touches and it's word to word. And I'm alive with the knowing that our mission is to gather together, to gather the world together. I love the double entendre and to go gather the material, gather together. But for us, it's to gather the people, to gather, to gather, to gather, to gather, powerfully gather the people. And we do it by sharing the spark, and the flame then arises. And so when it becomes that spark, and the spark's with you, and I like Stephanie, like spark's with you, it's Plastic Bank. Like you get it. You got it. Go talk about it. Tell people, tell people, tell people. And then it comes to life in the world. It's the different way of thinking that is shared and spread.
Hmm. Yeah.
I'm not sharing with you a way to do things. I'm sharing with you a different awareness that has the universe appear differently. Actually, let me rephrase that. It creates a space for the universe to appear, period.
To experience itself in the vision of the being. And I feel I am it says I'm sitting here like smiling because I'm receiving the transmission and it is such an energy and there's frequency and I see you and out there catalyzing and activating humans. And there's also an infrastructure. So I'm really
Yeah.
curious for you to speak to how you personally hold, because this is a beingness also to hold such a vision and spread the communication while also physically in this 3D reality that we've colluded and agree with, holding the structures and enabling the structures for that?
Listen, give you a twofold answer. The first answer authentically is I have no idea how this has emerged. I have no freaking idea. That is the truth of it. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people. Where do they emerge from? Where do they come from? Who are those people? Their schools, their stuff. Where did that occur? How did that happen? The software itself, where did that occur? Who created that? What was that like? What? That's the truth. I have no idea how it all emerged, but here it is. Now, yes, I hold an accountability for people. And I say, this is what's calling us, or we're in agreement. This is with who you are and what you know and where you've been and your life has arrived you at this moment. This is the calling of you. This is what's responsible. This is the responsibility to create banking for the poor, to create a credit score, a reliability factor for people so we can give no interest loans. We see the power of what could occur in that space. We see what could be done.
Mm.
And we come to that agreement and say, yes. And then I say, if you need help, call me.
And the people who are in the doing, are they're also holding the being and the doing.
That's it. That's the idea that uses them. They
Yeah.
know why. They live in the vision of it all. Now, I say it needs to be done by this date. Let's agree to this because even in that commitment, it brings it to life. So it needs to be done by this date. Are we in agreement? If something happens, we communicate and we figure it out why and everything else. But by this date, this will be done.
If a person, a leader, a creator, a visionary of an entity organization that's well established and complex and multi-layered, and this isn't the being of where they are at the moment, and they're wanting to shift, they're being called into a shift to embody this way of being. I'm hearing like a lot of like there's a release of control. There's somewhat of a release of control, and you're bringing the right people around you to embody and execute. If I don't like the
Yeah,
word
listen,
execute, can't speak
obviously
to me.
listen, I got lots of entrepreneurial experience and wisdom in it, but I think I've come to a place of proficiency where I recognize that job descriptions, telling people what to do, watching them do everything, it's archaic. It's not
Mm,
the way to run business. And listen, it's not the way to run a life. And I want to have a life. I want to be alive in the world. I want to experience every moment. I want to play with my baby. I want to be alive. I am not I'm standing for a possibility for the future that needs to exist. I'm doing it at a pace and a time where I have joy.
mm.
So that's way more important for me in my very sheer improbability of existence and the moment that I'm alive. So I'm doing that first and foremost. Executing Plastic Bank, that's a part of this journey of my life. I'm not going to contradict that. And so I don't want to sit there and work 24 hours a day. I am lazy by nature in the end. I want other people to create around me. So I give responsibility and I get out of the way. Now, certainly keeping people accountable and hiring people, and more importantly, I keep people, but I only keep a small handful of people accountable. I hire people to keep people accountable in
Hmm.
the end. Now, that all being said, we hire people who are in a way of action in their life. They're in a way of being where creating is an inherent knowing inside of them, where they have an internal locus of control, where they know themselves, they are the creator of the universe and their life.
They take responsibility for their experience.
That's their way of being. They know the only thing that can create the outcome of their life is themselves. You hire people with an internal locus of control and you give responsibility. So we hire the right people or attempt to.
Hey everyone, it's me, Stephanie. I wanted to pause this episode and just check in and see how you're doing. We're living through some crazy times right now. We got crazy, oh my God, intense, and we also have amazing. It's a really potent time of evolution. And if you're on that spiritual path, you know new gifts are coming online. We're being brought to our knees. We are navigating, we are ready to release all of the old programs and patterns. And what I see as we navigate this liminal moment is that our inner worlds can easily mimic the existential uncertainties and chaos in our outer world. We're all navigating some form of an identity shift, and so many people are seeking clarity. So, whether you are the clarity seeker and you're ready to activate whatever the next level is for you, the next thing is for you, or you are the soul seeker and you are ready to evolve, fully evolve, and connect to your deeper, authentic power and your unique medicine, or whether you're the pathfinder and it is go time, you're the business mission builder right now, and it is about putting your gifts and talents into the world, from the messaging, all the pieces of that, and who you get to be in that journey, or whether you are the wayfinder and you're ready to expand. You're the visionary leader ready to expand and bring in our new earth. The wayfinders are the bows of the ship. They see in the dark, the navigators, the seers, the intuitives. So, whether any of these resonate for you, whether you're seeking clarity and ready to activate, whether you're the soul seeker and ready to evolve, whether you're the pathfinder and ready to emerge, or whether you are the wayfinder and you know it is time to expand, I invite you to a one-on-one inquiry session with me to explore working together. I have been coaching visionary leaders and entrepreneurs, next gen investors, decades, for 3 decades now. And it is a absolute honor to hold the sacred space for people to expand and evolve into their higher becoming. So if this is resonating with you at all and you are interested in having this free inquiry session with me, if you're seriously, really serious about exploring working together, then there is a link on this page for you to click. And you can also go to rippleyouриmpact.com and we will have a call very soon. Thank you for taking the time. And now let's return to this episode.
Now, I take from John Maxwell, a leadership author, communicates that most companies always hire people for what they know and then fire them for who they are. And that's the truth. So hire the right who. What? Anyone can learn that. Now, if they are the right person and they have the right skill set, fantastic. Then we do, don't have to go through the whole learning curve. Or they bring some knowledge that we didn't have before, so it goes even faster. So that's really the work here. It's like who, hire the right who's that are naturally creators in the universe, know that they're responsible, so that they're easily held accountable because they're not like, oh, the weather changed, I didn't have this tool, no, they're like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm 100% accountable. I go figure it out. Great. And when I give them the vision in a way where it becomes them, and I'm like, this is your vision, not mine. The way you see the world and the what it's coming from, this origin of prosperity, plastic is money, how it's going to work in the world, all those things, we can share that. The way what else is available is inside of you.
Mm.
I only have my ways based on my past and my being. You now are the co-creator of the universe as I am. What else is available? What can be brought to life? Who are you? What is your contribution to humanity? This is the place for you to do that.
Mm.
This is home for you. We will co-create the universe, which is why we have almost nobody quits. Nobody. We have
Mm.
like, I don't know, 99% retention because it becomes people.
Yeah.
It's also a challenge sometimes when we have to let them go because it's a affront to people because it becomes a part of them and they feel like they're being, yes. That's a different discussion. But to create an environment and a business so tied into vision that it becomes embodied. Let me rephrase it actually. When you build a business so visionary that it reveals the vision is revealed in the embodiment of the person. Yeah, I think that's the first time I've communicated that and it resonates powerfully.
Yeah.
Because you
That
can't, it's revealed. I think it's important to communicate. that people are inspired by different things. I mean, what we're doing is beautiful, but there are your someone else's depth of soul, maybe education, or it may be um, mountain pastures, or I don't go be in a place where the vision is your embodiment.
So, okay, the the embodiment, then your expectation is somewhat open. It's like, what are we creating? What is this going to become? Who are you? And how is this coming through you? I can't wait to see what happens.
Well, I have the vision. Of course, I lead that because I'm running this enterprise, right? I'm
Hmm.
running the enterprise that is Plastic Bank. And so I have the vision for that. So that is my responsibility to lead the vision and direction. The vision for humanity lives inside of every single person, so they know where we're going. Plastic Bank is just one vehicle that's going to take us there. There's going to be
Hmm.
all kinds of others, technologies, material sciences, different, structures, banking, tech, all of it. Plastic Bank is one expression of that vision. The people who are working with me live in the vision of that possibility of a future where everything is regenerative and restorative for sure and prosperous. And that they're executing in the vision that I have for Plastic Bank. So we co-create the milestones at what needs to occur to create Plastic Bank, which is an element and a stepping stone towards that vision. Now, there will be an infinite way of showing up in the creation of the vision.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
This is one way. I know all of this to be the truth. I believe it's very difficult for people to conceptualize, and I understand why. I get it.
Why? Why?
Um, it seems it seems very, I think a lot of people have a concept that something so energetic can't be real.
Mm,
They look for the stepping stones. They think that it needs to be a XYZ management style, do it this way. These are the building. It's not. I know that the vision, the energy of the vision, that the energy, the unifying energetic magnetism of the universe is what will unify. And then the resonance of it all, it's the energetic resonance. And what I'm alive with more than ever is that hiring people that resonate on the same frequency. Now,
yes.
if I had this conversation was in my 30s, I'd be like, you are high. Like that is just like that is like no, life is very life is very material, like like just, I'm more than pragmatic. It's like very physical. It's like here's physical, I can see the world. Fuck that. It's not. It's energy. It's energy. It's life is energy. That's I know it to be true. And so having energetically people who are resonating in the same energetic frequency, which is what we all are in the end, that's the fact. That's the scientific fact of it all. And so when we hire people who are also resonating in that same band, then we're all creating that so that the band expands in a way that reality emerges around us. And it's just our reality. I'm just creating my reality for humanity. And even my expression and seeing of humanity is just my reality anyhow. So I'm just
Did you
creating
go,
my universe.
and did you go from that linear, somewhat contracted view of reality and how you operated it? Was it a leap and a jump? Was there an in between, and what did that in between look like? How do you bring this, communicate the vision? And was there an in between version of this?
No, there wasn't. As in fact, all of this emerged in the very moment that I had heard the possibility of the way of no. This emerged in the moment that I saw a way of being for the universe. Let me turn this back. When I had the idea, when I heard the concept, when I heard that plastic could be used as money, when I heard that plastic is money, when I saw that it was only my choice when I when I when it emerged for me that my view of life originated in a choice, and that what I chose, what I'd already chosen, was what I would see. When I had the idea that plastic could be used as money for the poor. So, like in that, what was behind it, though, what was the origination of that was that realizing that plastic was just plastic, and most of society had just chosen it to be worthless. They had already had a preconception that plastic was worthless. And there in that place is the degradation that we saw in the world. We had lost sight of the prosperity that is it. And so there we were experiencing the degradation of the environment. But when I realized that, oh, if I choose again that now plastic is money, that it's prosperous, that it's valuable, that it's everything else, that then could be an origin of a different universe and a different place of being. And I chose that all I did, though, was choose to receive that as a way of being in my life.
Yeah.
So I had the idea plastic is money, and I had all of the ego showed up and said, you can't do that, you're not good enough. The whole world would have to change, all of this stuff. You'd be with a poor multinational, you'd have to be with the biggest companies in the world. How would you tell someone the idea to? But then I had consciousness arrive. And the consciousness said, David, you don't need to be that person. You just need to choose to become that person. Be on that journey. All you need to do is become it. Free yourself of the destination. Be on the journey. Because the journey truly is the destination.
Hmm.
I only have the very present moment of being. That's it. It's all I will ever have. It's all I've ever had is now. So be in the becoming. Let now be the becoming of that. And inside of all of that, ultimately emerged this conversation. You see, even in that idea, the entirety of a universe was born. And here it is emerging still today. There's more collectors every day. There's more ways of being with you again here right now. That also originated in that moment. I'm alive now more than ever that we are the creators of universes. And that in spirituality, in scripture, this is what's spoken, that we are the co-creators. And that even in Genesis, New Testament, Old Testament, it begins with the entirety of the Bible lies in the first paragraph, which reveals that God spoke the universe into creation. And that we, as the co-creator of the universe, speak creation. We speak it. And the rest of it's just freaking commentary. And so I powerfully know, and my work is to continue to speak a universe that's equitable, just, love-filled, restorative. And I know it to be good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's the inspiriting the vision. That's what I was receiving from you, and seeing that as, if there's one nugget for listeners who are holding a vision and trying to, I actually am thinking of somebody who said recently, how you go off to these experiences and you experience, and then you come back and you lead your team, and how do you bring that back? This is what your answer, you've answered that. Thank you.
You know, all
Beyond that. Hmm?
the conversation, like, I resonate with it right now because it's sometimes very nice to hear myself say things. Sometimes it's like, oh, those are all the wisdoms of my life summarized. To
Thank you.
whatever's inside of it, there is no good or bad. It's just the what so
Hmm.
learnings. So however it unfolds, like, oh, okay, interesting. How does this take me towards my vision? Interesting. Okay. Okay, learn. Might super sting. Be like, oh, okay, cool. Thank you for the instruction. Oh, cool. Oh, there it is. Nice.
Instruction being another word for what we've called it.
I don't know, whatever someone wants to call it, but like I know it's a failure, whatever someone else might say, oh, that didn't work out. That was a failure. Well, that was just an instruction.
What's so beautiful is how, and we will absolutely not be editing that out, is the process, like literally the process for articulation, for choosing the words to transmit and share and express is everything.
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 That was the last little part of our dialogue is like the Genesis begins with God spoke, like, God created and then he called it good. Like that's what it's the entirety of it is that God spoke it. That's the book. Like
And
that's
it goes back to what we started with is you choose, like when we were talking about ego, it's like, well, you're choosing to be in gratitude and prosperity and in this way of thinking and being, and choosing your words with a level of intention and presence as you just did is choosing.
you choose and speak it.
Yeah.
Choose powerfully, choose it. This is what I want. This is the universe that I stand for, and I speak it into creation.
Mm,
There's the to bring newness into life. It's not to resist the old, but to create the new.
yeah.
I can spend all of my time saying there shouldn't be plastic. Plastic is bad. Plastic is bad. Or I can say, oh, a world without way. Oh, a world with prosperity. A world with everything is regenerative. Oh, and then create that. Create what it is you want, not what you don't want. Crazy. And of course, that has to survive. If you want to create, if you want resistance, what you resist persists. It must. If you want to live in a world without plastic, plastic has to exist for it to be without plastic.
So we have something to fight against.
And that has to exist.
Especially, yes, especially when we create jobs with titles that are for that purpose, then we won't have a job if we've already, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo, there's so much here. This is a transmission for everyone listening and myself and the universe. So thank you, David, so much. Is there anything else that's wanting to transmit in spirit?
I'd be remiss not to invite people to join. So, of course, go to plasticbank.com, and there's all kinds of ways for people just to put up their hand and say, "Yeah, I believe that this is a world, this is a universe I believe in,"
Mm,
and just commit. It's either like us on Instagram or something. It just that brings it to life. Because if you
mhm.
go and you learn and go, "Oh yes," and you make a commitment and you say yes, that affirmation changes you, which changes the world.
Question for you is, so is the plastic bank in the United States? Could people be collecting plastic and have take part in this app?
Well, it should be. I mean, there's bottle deposit programs, but not enough. And no, we're not. We're really focused on, the environmental degradation, which is coming from areas of extreme poverty, like
Yeah.
Nigeria and other places, which are
Yeah.
mass contributors to pollution. So stay
Mm.
there.
And so people who are just listening in the US, for example, can join and they're actually supporting.
Correct. They're helping support the end of plastic flowing into the ocean,
Mm,
the environment, and they're helping solve the condition that creates it. Like you
mm,
go clean the ocean, that's, I guess, important. You can clean beaches, which is important. But I think we need to focus our humanity on creating the environment where we don't need to clean the ocean.
yes. Yeah. Love
And that
that.
has to be solving poverty because it's 80% of the plastic entering the ocean is coming from those areas. So if you want to solve marine debris, you've got to solve poverty. You can't solve one without solving the other. That's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting a different result. But I'm cleaning the ocean, but I'm cleaning the ocean, but I'm cleaning the ocean, and it doesn't get better. Of course it's not getting better. You haven't solved the condition. You haven't solved the reason. So that's where our intersection, where we work in poverty, which is why plastic is entering. So in poverty, when they have no choice but to burn it or throw it in the river, we're there.
Mm,
You now have another choice. You can bring it to us. We'll return it back to circularity. You'll get money. You'll learn in the end, in the conditioning of it all, in the gamification, that you should go collect even more plastic and tell all of your friends that poverty can solve and leave the entire community. And so you all lift.
And you see this, you go and visit places and you
What we
witness
do.
yeah.
Amazing. It's just remarkable I was just in Manila and with the newest story that came to me now, which was beautiful, because we pay it like a bonus, right? So we give extras, like we gamify it. And so there's a little bit of extra. And we came across a couple that have never in their 4 years they've been doing with us, they've never withdrawn the bonus. They've never like, oh, like that's uncommon. So there's one couple that never did, and they with staff go like, you've never withdrawn it. It goes, yeah, that's our retirement.
Wow.
Like, oh, cool. Stuff like that. Like I've created that. That's a murder I haven't created. I revealed that in the universe, and and here it is. So like oh my God, I've got so much to be proud of. It's crazy. It's so beautiful just witnessing it all. It's like ridiculous. Like that
So
was an
amazing.
I was just like, oh, retirement. Like, I didn't even think they even have a concept that they could retire.
Which wasn't there before.
No. Listen, like an equitable society is one where abundance is available to everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, it is there already. We need to continue to reveal it.
Discernment is a key word this time of discerning our thoughts, discerning our choices. David, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your work, your beingness, and for sharing. And yeah, really, I feel so inspired and reactivated in a lot of ways. And I love you, and I'm very grateful for your work.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank
Thank you so much for everybody who's taken the time to listen. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to share, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, review the show, comment, engage in a conversation. We'll share all of the links in the show notes. And yeah, this is the journey. Thank you for being on it with us. And your attention means the world to me. And remember, be true to you.